Well, TRT World's executive producer, Ben Said, who's also a former journalist from South Africa, joins us now from our studios in Istanbul. Ben, you've been following the trials and tribulations of President Zuma. How do you think he's feeling right now, having secured this victory, but with such a narrow margin?
I think he'll be quite pleased with the fact that he's made it through, but I think he will be concerned about just the margin of victory in this case. As you mentioned, it's unprecedented. The number of ANC MPs who crossed the floor, voted with the opposition. I don't think we've seen that once in the post-democracy parliament since 1994. So I think he'll be concerned about that. But as Melanie said, all eyes now go on what's going to happen in the next few months in the lead-up to the ANC's national conference, which is due in December, and where a new leader of the party is supposed to be elected from one amongst the number there, and there's a number of candidates. What I think this has really shown today, though, for the first time, is publicly how split the ANC is, and not just on this issue of Jacob Zuma, but going forward, because the party is clearly split into different camps. It's going to be very difficult to see after December how these opposing factions can come together and build unity within the party leading up to 2019. There are massive divisions on corruption, on the economy and which direction it should take, and of course over Mr. Zuma himself. And it's difficult to see how the party is going to reconcile post-December on this issue.
And he himself, lots of legal headaches, as you mentioned, that's a whiff of corruption still overhanging there. Is he going to be able to get anything done between now and December? Because there's a long shopping list, isn't there, of policies, of bills that he wants to get through, that the Parliament wants to get through. Is there going to be time for that, or is it all about who's going to be the next leader?
I think it's going to be a lot about who's going to be the next leader. I think this battle is going to really develop within the ANC. You're going to see senior politicians like Zuma. You're going to see Cyril Ramaphosa, who also wants to be the new leader of the ANC. And of course, Zuma's ex-wife, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, crisscrossing the country, going from province to province, going to ANC branches and trying to get as much support as they can ahead of that elective conference. I don't think we're going to see much policy making. I don't think we're going to see many laws being passed through Parliament. And of course, that's a real issue. This economy right now is struggling. Investment from overseas is not coming in. Domestic investment is not coming in either because of the high political risk in the country at the moment. And that is something which the party is going to have to deal with going forward.
You talk about investment in South Africa. What do you think other world leaders, certainly in the region, are thinking? Do you think they're drawing a big sigh of relief that the status quo has remained?
I don't think necessarily. I would imagine that regional leaders in the SADC region of Southern Africa are extremely concerned about what's going on both within the ANC and in South Africa. Many of these countries, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana to a lesser extent, but Namibia, Zambia, the DRC, they rely on South Africa and the South African economy growing. South Africa pays them a lot in customs and excise duties, for example. A lot of trade goes to those countries through South African ports and on South African roads. And if South Africa collapses into difficult economic straits, even more than it already has, the entire region is going to suffer.
Ben Said in Istanbul, thank you.